The asteroid tumbled slowly through space, a chunk of dead rock that had drifted for thousands of years. Dr. Lisa Brennan watched it through the viewport of her research ship, adjusting the scanning equipment for the 10th time that hour. She had been studying ancient remains for 20 years, but something about this asteroid felt different. "Jake, come look at this," she called to her assistant. Jake Morrison floated over in the zero gravity, grabbing a handrail to steady himself. "What? Is it, Doc?" Jake peered at the screen showing the scan results. "There's something inside the asteroid, something metal, and it's not natural." Jake's eyes widened. They had found plenty of space debris before, but nothing buried inside solid rock. "How old?" Lisa ran her fingers across the holographic display, pulling up the dating analysis. "At least 40,000 years, maybe older." The discovery changed everything. Within hours, their small research vessel was surrounded by ships from across the galaxy. The Galactic Council had sent 3 cruisers. The Dominion Empire arrived with a battleship. Even the mysterious Altarians appeared in their shimmering vessels. Admiral Zixthan of the Dominion Empire was the first to demand answers. His reptilian features filled the communication screen, yellow eyes narrowing. "Dr. Brennan, you will transfer all data about this discovery immediately." Lisa stood her ground. "Admiral, this is a scientific matter. The Galactic Council has jurisdiction over archaeological finds." "Not when they pose a threat," Zixthan hissed. "My sensors detect unknown energy signatures from that object. It could be a weapon." Before Lisa could respond, another voice joined the channel. Ambassador Kira Walsh appeared on screen, her face showing the subtle ridges that marked her as one of the Terran descendants. "Admiral, please, we don't even know what it is yet." "That is precisely why it should be destroyed," Zixthan replied. Lisa watched the argument unfold, her mind racing. The Terran descendants claimed to be related to the mythical humans, a species that had vanished 40,000 years ago. Most scientists dismissed the connection as wishful thinking. But if this artifact was really that old— "I'm going in," Lisa announced, cutting through the debate. "My ship, my discovery. I'll extract the object and we can study it properly." The extraction took 6 hours. Lisa and Jake worked carefully, using laser cutters to free the object from the asteroid's core. What they found made them both stop and stare. It was a probe about 3 meters long, made of a metal that seemed to shift colors in the light. Strange symbols covered its surface, and at its center sat a crystalline cube that pulsed with soft blue light. "Those markings," Jake whispered. "I've seen something like them before, in the old Earth legends." Lisa nodded slowly. The symbols did look familiar. Every child in the galaxy knew the stories of Earth, the lost homeworld of humanity. But those were just stories, weren't they? Back on her ship, Lisa placed the probe in a containment field. As soon as the field activated, the crystal cube began to glow brighter. A holographic display appeared above it, showing numbers counting down. 72 hours, Jake read. "Until what?" Lisa shook her head. "I don't know, but we need to figure it out fast." The news spread quickly. Within hours, every major civilization in the galaxy knew about the discovery. Scientists, military leaders, and politicians all wanted answers. Was it human? Was it dangerous? What would happen when the countdown reached 0? Dr. Marcus Coleman heard about the discovery while working on the frontier world of New Haven. He had spent years studying ancient ruins, searching for any trace of the legendary humans. Now, according to the reports, someone had found an actual human artifact. On the core world of Altair Prime, Ambassador Chen Wei called an emergency session of the Galactic Council. "We must proceed with caution," he urged the assembled representatives. "This discovery could change everything we know about our history." But not everyone wanted to wait. General Thax of the Vraxian War Fleet ordered his ships to mobilize. "If this is a human weapon, we must be ready," he growled to his officers. "The old stories speak of humanity's great power. We cannot let such power fall into enemy hands." Meanwhile, on Lisa's ship, the probe continued its countdown. She and Jake worked around the clock, trying to decode the symbols and understand the probe's purpose. What they found only raised more questions. "The metal isn't in our database," Jake reported. "It's nothing like any alloy we know. And these energy reading, They don't match any known technology. Lisa nodded, her eyes tired but excited. And look at this. The crystal isn't just counting down. It's also scanning. Searching for something. Searching for what? I don't know, but watch what happens when I do this. Lisa activated her personal translator, a device that could decode most known languages. The moment she turned it on, the probe's crystal flashed. New symbols appeared in the holographic display. These were different, more complex. And as Lisa watched, they began to change, shifting and rearranging themselves. It's learning, she breathed. The probe is learning our language. Jake stepped back, suddenly nervous. Doc, maybe the Admiral was right. Maybe we should... A voice interrupted him. It came from the probe itself, speaking in broken but understandable galactic standard. Greetings. To those who find this message. Countdown continues. Preparation required. Humanity's final gift awaits. Lisa and Jake stared at each other. The probe was talking, and it had confirmed what they suspected. This was human technology. What gift? Lisa asked, her voice shaking slightly. The probe's response sent chills down her spine. Protection from the darkness that comes. Unity required. All species must prepare. Time limited. Countdown continues. As the probe fell silent again, Lisa realized the magnitude of what they had found. This wasn't just an archaeological discovery. It was a message from humanity itself, sent across 40,000 years. And according to the probe, something was coming. Something that humanity had tried to warn them about. The countdown showed 68 hours remaining. Whatever was going to happen, they had less than 3 days to prepare. And Lisa had a feeling that the entire galaxy would need to work together to face what was coming. Outside her ship, more vessels continued to arrive. The space around the asteroid was becoming crowded with ships from every corner of the galaxy. Some came in peace, seeking knowledge. Others came ready for war, fearing the unknown. And at the center of it all, the ancient human probe continued its countdown, holding secrets that would soon change everything. The ground shook on New Haven. Dr. Marcus Coleman grabbed his desk as his coffee cup crashed to the floor. This was no ordinary earthquake. The tremors had a rhythm, like a massive heartbeat deep underground. Everyone outside, Marcus shouted, to his research team. They ran from the building just as a crack split the earth in front of them. But it wasn't destruction. Something was rising from below. Metal gleamed in the sunlight as a structure pushed up through the soil. It looked like a tower, but unlike anything Marcus had seen before. The metal surface rippled with strange patterns, and blue lights pulsed along its length. Marcus pulled out his communicator. This is Dr. Coleman on New Haven. We have something coming out of the ground. It's huge. His message joined thousands of others flooding the galactic networks. On every inhabited world, similar structures were emerging. Some rose from oceans, others burst through mountains. A few appeared in the middle of cities, somehow not damaging any buildings as they grew. Captain Ashley Rivera received her orders while patrolling the outer colonies. Return to base immediately. We have a situation. What kind of situation? She asked her commander. Unknown structures appearing planet-wide. We need every available ship. Ashley turned her patrol craft toward home, pushing the engines to maximum speed. As she flew, she monitored the news feeds. The reports were incredible. Ancient structures hidden for millennia were activating all at once. This can't be coincidence, her co-pilot said. First that probe, now this. Ashley nodded. The timing was too perfect. Somehow, the discovery of the human probe had triggered something across the entire galaxy. Back on Lisa's research ship, the probe's countdown showed 58 hours remaining. The crystal cube now projected a star map with thousands of points lighting up. Jake, look at this, Lisa said. Each point matches a location where these structures are appearing. Jake studied the map. The probe knew. It knew where they all were. More than that, I think it activated them, Ambassador Kira Walsh called an emergency meeting aboard the Galactic Council's flagship. Representatives from every major civilization gathered in the conference hall, their voices mixing in heated debate. This is an invasion. General Thax of the Vraxians slammed his fist on the table. Human weapons hidden on our worlds. We don't know their weapons, Kira replied calmly. They haven't shown any hostile behavior. Yet, Admiral Zixthan added. The countdown continues. When it reaches 0, these structures could activate fully. We should destroy them now, while we can. Elder Solana of the Altarians spoke for the first time. Her crystalline form chimed softly as she moved. Perhaps we should try to understand before we destroy. The humans were known for their wisdom, not their violence. The humans are myths, Thax growled. Stories told to children. Not anymore, Kira said. She activated a hologram showing the probe. This is real. The structures are real, and they're trying to tell us something. On the frontier world of Kepler-7, Captain Ashley Rivera landed near the largest emerged structure. It towered above the landscape nearly a kilometer tall. Strange symbols covered its surface similar to those on the probe. Set up a perimeter, she ordered her team. Nobody gets close until we know what we're dealing with. But as they approached, something unexpected happened. The symbols on the structure began to glow and a door appeared in its base. Not sliding open or breaking apart, but simply appearing, as if it had always been there. Ashley drew her weapon. Stay alert. They entered carefully, finding a corridor that led deep into the structure. The walls were smooth and warm to the touch. Soft light emanated from everywhere and nowhere at once. At the corridor's end, they found a vast chamber. In the center sat a chair, clearly designed for a human form. Above it floated a holographic interface waiting. Captain, one of her soldiers whispered. Should someone... Ashley holstered her weapon. I'll do it. She sat in the chair. Immediately, the interface came alive. Images flooded the air around her. Star charts, technical diagrams, and what looked like historical records. And then, a face appeared. It was a human woman, middle-aged, with kind eyes and graying hair. She smiled sadly and began to speak. My name is Dr. Elena Vasquez. If you're seeing this, then our plan has begun. You found our probe and the network is awakening. The hologram paused, as if gathering strength. We don't have much time, so I'll be direct. Humanity is gone. We knew our end was coming, and we prepared. These structures you see emerging, they're not weapons, they're shields. Ashley leaned forward, captivated. Around the galaxy, similar scenes played out as others discovered control rooms and heard messages from long-dead humans. Dr. Vasquez continued. We discovered something terrible. A wave of dark energy moving through the universe, consuming everything in its path. We had decades to prepare, but it wasn't enough to save ourselves. So we chose to save you instead. The hologram changed, showing a visualization of the galaxy. A dark wave swept across it, leaving empty space behind. But then, points of light appeared, the structures. As the wave hit them, barriers of energy formed, protecting the worlds within. The network requires cooperation, Vasquez explained. No single species can operate it alone. You must work together or you'll all fall separately. Ashley's communicator buzzed with incoming messages. Similar revelations were happening everywhere. The structures were part of a vast defense system, designed to protect inhabited worlds from an approaching cosmic disaster. Back on Lisa's ship, the probe responded to the global activation. New data streamed from its crystal core, technical specifications and instructions flooding their computers. Jake, this is incredible, Lisa said. The engineering required for this. It's beyond anything we can do today. But humans did it 40,000 years ago. Apparently, and they did it while facing extinction. The political situation shifted rapidly. Admiral Zixthan, who had demanded the probe's destruction, now called for unity. If this threat is real, we need to prepare, The humans gave us the tools, we must learn to use them. General Thax was less convinced. How do we know this isn't elaborate manipulation? These humans could still be alive using this to conquer us. Elder Solana's response silenced the room. If they had such power, why would they need deception? No, this speaks of sacrifice, not conquest. As the second day began, teams of scientists and engineers worked frantically to understand the shield network. Each structure was a node in a galaxy-spanning system, but activating it required synchronization across thousands of worlds. Dr. Marcus Coleman made a disturbing discovery. The power requirements are massive, he reported. Our current technology can barely operate a single node. To power the entire network, he didn't need to finish. Everyone understood. The shield network was beyond their current capabilities. They had the structures, but lacked the power to use them. On the probe, the countdown showed 36 hours. Time was running out and they still didn't have answers to crucial questions. How long until the dark energy wave arrived? How could they power the shields? And most importantly, what had humanity sacrificed to build this system? The answers, they knew, were hidden in the structures themselves. Teams across the galaxy worked to decode more messages, uncover more control rooms, and piece together humanity's final legacy. As night fell on New Haven, Marcus stood before the towering structure. Lights pulsed along its surface in complex patterns. Somewhere in that alien geometry lay the secrets of a dead civilization's last gift to the galaxy. "We won't let you down," he whispered to the ghosts of humanity. "Whatever it takes, we'll make this work." Above him, the stars shone, cold and distant, and somewhere among them an ancient countdown continued its relentless march toward zero. 24 hours remained on the countdown. Dr. Nathan Park sat in the linguistics lab aboard the Galactic Council's research station, surrounded by screens filled with symbols. His eyes burned from lack of sleep, but he couldn't stop now. The probe had begun transmitting new data, fragments of information that seemed random at first. "Come on," he muttered, rearranging the symbols again. "There's a pattern here. There has to be." Suddenly, the symbols clicked into place. Nathan sat up straight, his tiredness forgotten. "That's it, it's not random, it's a story, their story." He called Lisa immediately. "Dr. Brennan, you need to see this. The probe is transmitting history, Earth's final days." The first complete fragment showed images of Earth, blue and green and beautiful. Then came the detection, a dark wave approaching from deep space. The images showed human scientists working frantically, their faces grim with determination. "They had 90 years, Nathan translated the accompanying text. "From first detection to arrival, 90 years to find a solution." Commander Sophie Turner watched the transmission from her ship, the Coalition Defense Force vessel Harmony. As a military officer, she focused on different details than the scientists. "Look at their response," she told her crew. "No panic, no chaos." They united completely. Every nation, every resource, focused on one goal. The probe's transmissions painted a picture of humanity's last century. They tried everything: weapons to destroy the wave, shields to deflect it, even attempts to evacuate Earth. Nothing worked. The dark energy consumed all matter it touched, converting it to empty space. But humans didn't give up. If they couldn't save themselves, they would save others. They studied previous extinction events, Nathan continued translating. The wave had passed through the galaxy before, roughly every 100,000 years. Each time, it wiped out advanced civilizations. Lisa felt a chill. "So this has happened before?" "Many times. But humanity was the first to detect it in advance, the first to prepare." The probe revealed more details. Humanity had made a terrible discovery. The wave, specifically, targeted worlds with intelligent life. Something about consciousness, about the neural patterns of thinking beings, attracted it like a beacon. They realized they couldn't hide, Nathan said softly. So they chose to be the last. The images showed massive construction projects, not on Earth, but across the galaxy. Humans had sent out secret missions, seeding thousands of worlds with dormant technology. Each structure was carefully hidden, designed to activate only when the wave returned. Dr. Marcus Coleman made the connection. The structures aren't just shields, they're mimics. They copy the neural patterns that attract the wave, but in a controlled way. Like decoys? Captain Ashley Rivera asked over the comm. Exactly. The wave will be drawn to the shields instead of populated worlds, but powering them requires massive amounts of energy. The probe's next transmission made everyone pause. It showed humans volunteering by the billions, entering strange chambers in massive facilities. Their bodies dissolved into pure energy, which was then stored in crystalline matrices. They converted themselves, Lisa whispered. Transformed their entire population into energy. Ambassador Kira Walsh convened another emergency session. This time, the mood was different. Even General Thax sat in stunned silence as they reviewed the transmissions. 11 billion humans, Kira reported. They all chose this. Not just adults, families made the choice together. They decided their children would have a better future as part of the SHIELD network than facing certain death. Elder Solana's crystalline form dimmed with sorrow. Such sacrifice. They gave up everything. Their world, their bodies, their future as a species, all to protect civilizations they would never meet. The probe continued, revealing humanity's plan. The SHIELD network needed intelligent operators, beings who could adapt and respond to the wave's behavior. But no living creature could survive the energies involved, so humanity became the operators. They're still there, Nathan realized. Inside every structure, human consciousness transformed into energy waiting to protect us. Admiral Zixthan, who had threatened to destroy the probe, now bowed his head. We misjudged them. We thought of weapons and conquest. They thought of salvation. With 12 hours remaining, new transmissions showed the activation process. The shields required synchronized power-up across all nodes. Any delay, any failure in cooperation, and the entire network would collapse. They made it impossible to use selfishly, Commander Turner observed. The network only works if everyone participates. Forced cooperation through necessity. The technical specifications were staggering. Each node needed a massive power input to begin the transformation process. The energy of stars would be channeled through the structures, guided by the preserved human consciousness within. We'll need to modify every power grid on every world, reported Chief Engineer Kowalski from the Coalition fleet. It's possible, but we have less than 12 hours. Then we better start now, Ashley replied. Across the galaxy, old enemies began working together. Phyrexian warriors helped Altarian scientists. Dominion engineers shared technology with Coalition teams. The threat of extinction accomplished what centuries of diplomacy had failed to achieve. The probe revealed one final element of humanity's plan. A message from their last leader, President Maria Santos, recorded just before entering the transformation chamber. Her image appeared, tired but determined. To whoever finds this message, we failed to save ourselves, but we refuse to let our failure doom others. The wave cannot be stopped, but it can be redirected. Our SHIELD network will protect you, but at a cost. We will power it with our transformed essence, becoming eternal guardians. She paused, emotion crossing her face. We argued about this choice. Some said we should try to preserve human culture, human art, human history. But in the end, we realized our greatest art would be the civilizations we saved. Our history would be written in the worlds that survived because of our sacrifice. President Santos straightened. The network requires unity. You must work together, all of you. Our consciousness will guide the shields. But you must provide the initial power. When the wave comes, and it will come, we'll be ready. Humanity's body dies today, but our purpose lives forever. The message ended. In the silence that followed, representatives from 100 civilizations looked at each other with new understanding. 6 hours, Lisa announced. The countdown shows 6 hours. General Thax stood. The Vraxian Empire pledges all resources. We will not waste humanity's gift. One by one, every civilization pledged support. Ancient enemies shook hands. Border disputes were forgotten. The entire galaxy mobilized for a single purpose. As engineers and scientists raced to prepare the power systems, Nathan finished decoding the last transmission. It was a simple phrase repeated in every human language. From stardust we came, to starlight we return. Our light will shield you in the darkness. The countdown continued. Around every structure, teams worked frantically. Power conduits were connected. Energy reserves were marshaled. Commands were synchronized. 3 hours remained. Then 2. Then 1. As the final hour began, Sophie Turner stood on the bridge of the Harmony, watching the nearest shield structure pulse with gathering energy. Somewhere inside that alien geometry, human consciousness waited to fulfill their final duty. All stations report ready, her communications officer announced. Power grids synchronized, awaiting final countdown. Lisa watched the probe's display. The numbers decreased steadily. 30 minutes, 20, 10. This is it, Jake said quietly. 40,000 years of waiting, 5 minutes. Around the galaxy, billions of beings held their breath. 1 minute. The structures began to glow. 30 seconds. Power surged through the network. 10 seconds. The stars themselves seemed to dim. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The probe's crystal flared with blinding light. Across the galaxy, the shield network awakened, and humanity's final message began. The galaxy changed in an instant. Every shield structure blazed with golden light, beams of energy shooting into space. The light connected node to node, creating a vast web that spanned star systems. At the center of each structure, holographic projections appeared. Humans, thousands of them, their forms made of pure light. Dr. Elena Vasquez appeared first, her hologram standing 10 meters tall above the main Earth structure on humanity's ancient homeworld. She looked exactly as she had in the earlier message, but now her eyes held a strange glow. Citizens of the galaxy, she began, her voice carrying across every communication channel. The SHIELD network is now active. I am Elena Vasquez, Chief Scientist of the Human Preservation Project. My consciousness, along with billions of others, now exists within these structures. On New Haven, Dr. Marcus Coleman watched in awe as more human figures appeared. They weren't recordings. They responded to questions, turned to look at people, showed real awareness. You're alive? Marcus asked the nearest projection, a man in a military uniform. Not alive in the traditional sense, the figure replied. I am General Kyle Matthews, former head of Earth Defense Force. My body died 40,000 years ago. But my consciousness, my memories, my purpose, these continue. The revelations came quickly. The humans explained their discovery in detail. The dark energy wave wasn't natural. It was a cosmic defense mechanism, triggered by the concentration of intelligent life. When too many advanced civilizations emerged in one galaxy, the wave activated to reset the balance. Think of it like a forest fire, Dr. Vasquez explained. It clears away the old to make room for new growth, but we decided this cycle had to end. The SHIELD network worked by creating false targets. Each node projected the neural signatures that attracted the wave, but in a controlled pattern that would draw it away from inhabited worlds. The wave would strike the shields, expend its energy, and dissipate harmlessly. But the humans revealed something else. The wave was already coming. Their calculations showed it had begun its approach 5,000 years ago. It would arrive. In less than a decade, Admiral Zixthon studied the stellar projections. 10 years? That's all we have. 9 years, 7 months, and 12 days, General Matthews corrected. But the network is ready. If we maintain it properly, every world will survive. The human consciousness explained the technical requirements. The shields needed constant power, drawn from stellar energy. They also needed regular maintenance and coordination. No single species could manage it alone. We designed it this way, intentionally, Dr. Vasquez said. The network forces cooperation. You must work together or you'll face extinction separately. Captain Ashley Rivera asked the question everyone was thinking. Why did you do this? Why sacrifice your entire species for us? A new figure appeared, an elderly woman with kind eyes. I'm Dr. Sarah Kim, former philosopher and ethicist. We debated this choice for years. Some wanted to try saving a portion of humanity. Others suggested uploading our minds to computers. But we kept coming back to one truth. Consciousness is the universe's greatest achievement. To preserve it in any form was worth any sacrifice. The humans revealed more about their transformation process. It hadn't been painless. Converting flesh to energy consciousness required each person to experience their own death consciously. Children were spared this. Their parents made the choice for them, and they were transformed while sleeping. 11 billion people chose this, Dr. Kim continued. We became light itself, eternal guardians in the darkness. Your survival is our immortality. Commander Sophie Turner coordinated the military response. We need defense fleets at every node. If anything damages these structures, the network has redundancy, General Matthews assured her. We can lose up to 30% of nodes and still maintain coverage. But yes, protection is essential. The human consciousness demonstrated the network's capabilities. They could manipulate energy on a massive scale, create protective barriers, and even communicate faster than light between nodes. They had become something beyond human, yet retained their essential humanity. Elder Solana asked about limitations. What can't you do? We cannot leave the network, Dr. Vasquez replied. We cannot reproduce or create new consciousness. We exist only to operate these shields. When the last inhabited world no longer needs protection, we will finally rest. The fear. Implications were staggering. Humanity had transformed itself into a galactic immune system, protecting life from a cosmic threat. They would exist as long as intelligent life needed protection. Days passed as civilizations adjusted to the new reality. Former enemies worked side by side, maintaining the network. The Vraxian Empire, known for its aggression, became the strongest advocate for cooperation. The Dominion, once isolationist, opened its borders to technical exchanges. Dr. Nathan Park made another discovery. Hidden in the probe's data were personal messages, millions of them, letters from humans to their descendants, to the civilizations they would never meet. One message came from a teacher named John Wright. To whoever reads this, I taught children for 30 years. My students were my legacy. Now you are all my students. Learn from each other. Grow beyond what we achieved. Make our sacrifice meaningful. Another from a mother, Anna Lopez. I transformed with my children. We became light together. Somewhere, in these shields, we continue as a family. When you look at the stars, know that human love protects you. The messages revealed the depth of humanity's sacrifice. They hadn't just given up their lives. They had given up their future, their dreams, their chance to explore the stars themselves, all so others could have that chance. As the galaxy united around the network's maintenance, something unexpected happened. The human consciousness began to teach. They shared technologies humanity had developed, scientific principles they had discovered, philosophical insights they had gained. We cannot evolve further, Dr. Vasquez explained. But you can. We preserved not just your lives, but the chance for consciousness to grow beyond what we achieved. A month after activation, long-range sensors detected it, the dark energy wave, approaching from intergalactic space. It appeared as a void in the cosmic background, a region where light simply ended. There it is, whispered Lisa, looking at the sensor data. The destroyer of civilizations. The human projections showed no fear. We've waited 40,000 years for this moment, General Matthews said. The network is ready. Trust us, Lamia. Galactic Council established new institutions, the Shield Maintenance Corps, the Unity Defense Fleet, the Consciousness Preservation Society. Old rivalries dissolved in the face of shared purpose. Ambassador Kira Walsh addressed the gathered representatives. Humanity's gift comes with responsibility. They didn't just save us from extinction, they showed us how to live. United, purposeful, protecting each other. As the dark energy wave approached, final preparations began. Power systems were checked and rechecked. Defensive fleets positioned themselves around critical nodes. Scientists monitored every aspect of the network. The human consciousness remained calm, almost serene. They had engineered their own death and transformation for this moment. They had waited 40 millennia as pure energy, holding to their purpose. "We have one more revelation," Dr. Vasquez announced as the wave drew closer. "The network doesn't just protect, it learns. Each time the wave strikes, we'll understand it better. Eventually, we may find a way to stop it permanently." The possibility of truly ending the cycle sparked hope across the galaxy. Humanity's sacrifice might not just delay extinction, but prevent it forever. As the wave entered the galaxy's edge, the shield network began to pulse with increased energy. The human consciousness prepared for their ultimate test. 40,000 years of waiting would culminate in the next few months. "All nodes report ready," announced control stations across the galaxy. "Power systems optimal. Human consciousness fully active." The greatest challenge in galactic history approached, and humanity, transformed into eternal guardians, stood ready to face it. Their bodies were long dead, but their purpose burned brighter than ever. The final test of their sacrifice was about to begin. The dark energy wave hit the galaxy's edge like a silent tsunami. Stars winked out. Entire systems vanished into nothingness. But where the wave touched the shield network, golden barriers flared to life. The human consciousness had been right. The wave was drawn to the false neural signatures like magnets. Ambassador Sean Murphy appeared above Earth's primary shield node, his projection towering against the stars. Unlike the other human forms, he didn't wear a scientist's coat or military uniform. He appeared in a simple suit, the kind diplomats wore 40,000 years ago. "Citizens of the galaxy," he began, his Irish accent still detectable after millennia. "I was humanity's final ambassador to the United Nations. I spoke for Earth in our last years. Now I speak for all humanity, transformed but not gone." The wave crashed against the outer shield nodes. Energy displays showed the incredible forces involved, enough power to destroy planets channeled harmlessly into space. The human consciousness within each node worked in perfect synchronization, adjusting frequencies, redirecting energies, maintaining the barriers. Dr. Olivia Chen's projection appeared beside Ambassador Murphy. "My calculations show the wave's initial strength. It's stronger than our historical models predicted. The network is holding, but we need 20% more power." Across the galaxy, civilizations responded. The Vraxian Empire diverted energy from their military bases. The Altarians channeled power from their crystal cities. Even species who had never cooperated before linked their power grids to the network. Commander Patrick O'Brien materialized at the Military Coordination Center. "I was a peacekeeper in humanity's final decade. Funny thing, we spent so much time learning to prevent wars between humans. Now our consciousness prevents the ultimate war, life versus extinction." The wave's assault intensified. Several outer nodes flickered, their shields wavering. But before they could fail, power surged from neighboring nodes. The human consciousness redistributed energy instantly, covering weak points, strengthening barriers. "This is how we designed it," explained Dr. Julie Foster, appearing at the Science Monitoring Station. "The network is like a living organism. It adapts, responds, heals itself. We are its mind, you are its body. Together we are unstoppable." Days passed. The wave pressed deeper into the galaxy, but the shields held. Every inhabited world remained safe behind the barriers. Children played on planets that should have been consumed. Cities thrived where only void should exist. But the cost was becoming clear. The human consciousness showed signs of strain. Their projections flickered occasionally, their responses slowed by microseconds. "We're dying," Dr. Elena Vasquez admitted during a status briefing. "Truly dying this time. The energy required is consuming us. We estimate 40% of human consciousness has already dissipated." Admiral Zixthon slammed his fist on the table. There must be something we can do. There is, Vasquez replied. You can ensure this isn't in vain. Learn from this. Grow beyond us. Find a permanent solution. The battle continued for months. The wave pushed toward the galaxy's core where the oldest civilizations resided. But at each step, the shields held. The human consciousness fought with everything they had, spending their existence drop by drop to maintain the barriers. Personal messages began appearing from the fading consciousness. General Matthews left military protocols for the Unified Defense Force. Dr. Kim recorded philosophical teachings about sacrifice and unity. Teachers, artists, parents, all left their final thoughts as they felt themselves dissolving. Don't mourn us, wrote a farmer named William Green. We chose this. Every sunrise you see, every child born, every moment of joy, that's our success. We didn't die. We became your tomorrows. The crisis deepened when the wave reached the galaxy's dense core. Hundreds of inhabited systems clustered together, requiring massive shield coverage. The human consciousness stretched themselves to the limit. We need help, Ambassador Murphy announced. His projection was fading, becoming translucent. The network needs fresh consciousness to support it, not to replace us, but to join us. The call sparked debate across the galaxy. Who would volunteer to transform as the humans had? Which species would sacrifice their physical forms to become energy guardians? The answer came from unexpected sources. Elderly citizens from every species stepped forward, those near death anyway, choosing transformation over natural ending. Warriors with terminal illnesses, scientists with incurable conditions. If humans could do this for strangers, said an aging Vraxian general, we can do it for our children. The transformation process had been preserved in the network systems. One by one, volunteers entered conversion chambers built using humanity's plans. Their bodies dissolved into energy, their consciousness joining the network. The reinforcement came just in time. The wave's assault on the galactic core threatened to overwhelm the weakened human consciousness. But as new minds joined the network, the shield strengthened. Vraxian warrior spirits brought fierce determination. Altarian philosophers added deep wisdom. Coalition engineers provided technical innovation. Together, they held the line. The battle reached its climax as the wave struck Earth itself. Humanity's homeworld, empty for 40 millennia, still held the primary network node. If it fell, the entire shield system would collapse. Every remaining human consciousness gathered at Earth's node. Ambassador Murphy, Dr. Vasquez, General Matthews, all focused their final energy on protecting their ancient home. For Earth, Murphy whispered, his form barely visible. For all life, Vasquez added. For the future, Matthews concluded. The wave hit with unprecedented force. The shield flared brighter than a star. For a moment it seemed the barrier might break. Then the reinforcements arrived. New consciousness from across the galaxy, adding their strength to humanity's last stand. The shield held. The wave, finding no weakness, began to dissipate. Its energy spent against the barriers, it faded back into the cosmic void. They had won. As the threat receded, the cost became clear. Less than 10% of the original human consciousness remained. Ambassador Murphy was gone, spent in the final defense. Dr. Vasquez flickered weakly, barely maintaining cohesion. But the galaxy lived. Every world, every species, every child had a future because of humanity's sacrifice. The Galactic Council established the Human Memorial Day, celebrated on every world. But more importantly, they embraced humanity's true legacy, unity. The Galactic Federation was born, with the SHIELD network as its foundation. Species that had been enemies for millennia now worked as one. Scientists shared knowledge freely. Cultures mixed and grew. The network required cooperation, and cooperation brought peace. Dr. Vasquez gave her final message before fading completely. We didn't save you from extinction just to watch you repeat our mistakes. The network binds you together, Use that bond. Grow beyond what we were. Reach heights we never could. Years passed. The galaxy thrived under unprecedented unity. New technologies emerged from shared research. Art and culture flourished through peaceful exchange. Children grew up in a galaxy where cooperation was natural, not forced. The SHIELD network still stood maintained by the mixed consciousness of many species. Humans, Vraxians, Altarians, and others, all united in purpose. They kept watch, ready for the wave's return in another 100,000 years. But more importantly, they guided civilization toward a better future. The network became more than defense. It was a symbol of what sacrifice could achieve, what unity could build. On the anniversary of the wave's defeat, a young coalition scientist named Lisa Park, named after the human who found the probe, made a discovery. Deep in the network's code, she found a hidden message from humanity's founders. It was simple. We gave up our today for your tomorrow. Now give your tomorrow to those who come after. The cycle of sacrifice and growth is the true shield against darkness. The galaxy had learned humanity's greatest lesson, not the technology of the shields, not the science of transformation, but the truth that unity through sacrifice could overcome any challenge. Humanity's bodies were gone. Most of their consciousness had faded, but their legacy lived in every moment of peace, every act of cooperation, every life saved by their sacrifice. In the end, humanity had won the only victory that mattered. They had ensured that consciousness, in all its forms, would continue to grow and thrive among the stars. Their final message to the galaxy had been heard, and it had changed everything.